I'm joined by Sajan Alex, the Vice President of Abu Dhabi-headquartered Tablez Food Company today on RetailME TV. And we're going to be talking about how this company is cautiously growing in a market that's dynamic and that's ever-changing. Welcome to RetailME TV, Sajan. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me here, and it's nice to be in this platform again after a long break.
It has been very long, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, because we've been a bit busy.
What have you been busy with? I'm going to straight away get on to my questions. How many outlets right now? What does your brand portfolio look like? What will it look like by the end of the year?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's a very it's a heavy question because we decelerated our growth, or rather we trimmed our portfolio.
Yeah.
So we are 1/3 the size of what we were pre-COVID. So even before COVID, we realized the portfolio is too wide.
Yeah.
It sucks in a lot of resources. And when the portfolio is too wide, it's just gets so difficult to allocate equal amount of resources to all of it.
Yes.
Some work, some doesn't work.
Yeah.
And the focus then becomes very scattered. You start sprinkling resources. So we were already evaluating a portfolio rejig before COVID. And it's normal for any business to sort of evaluate its portfolio, look at relevance.
Yeah.
Look at what would remain relevant for next 10 years and plus another 10 years. So we were already evaluating that, and we were making decisions on some deep cuts. But COVID sort of accelerated that rejigging the portfolio.
Okay.
In fact, what we would have otherwise taken about 12 to 18 months to sort of trim it, divest or offload or exit a lease, that happened in 6 months' time.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, there has been some good outcomes of this COVID accelerated trimming of portfolio, of rejigging of portfolio. And what we believe, what we have now with us, all of it maintains a certain competitive edge. There is something that there's a strong IP, there's a strong differentiation. What I call it really, I picked this up from one of those books that I read, which is written by Yum CEO. It's called RED marketing. So it's RED stands for relevance, ease, and distinctiveness. So actually, if you really look at it, these three words just really plays out.
Right.
So we looked at what could remain relevant in the long horizon. And which brand has distinctiveness, which we can strengthen further. So we can always maintain a gap from someone who's sort of entering the market today to try and copy the same thing. So we are kind of continuously evolving to keep the brand relevant.
Yeah.
So there is this process of continuous cycle. So we kind of keep doing things to stay ahead of the pack, so that anybody is sort of entering, looking at what we're doing, by the time they figure out what we're doing, we would have sort of gone to the next cycle. So it's like a flywheel we're trying to create to make sure that we have one thing which is different than what a new player is coming to try and do, copying us. So that's been a lot of work that we've been doing in the on the restaurant business side. We also realized the retail direct to customer or physical retailing goes through a lot of shocks and cycles, and I've seen multiple cycles in last 10-12 years, starting with some of the geopolitical differences or disturbances. The crude price shock, which was one of the biggest shock for us, because when the crude price collapsed, that's when we were growing the max. We probably signed up very expensive or we signed up leases which was a heated market. And then the price collapse happened, government spend trimmed, job losses happened, and regional economies start containing themselves into inward looking projects. It actually caused a difficulty for the business. So we realized being in this retail, we also need something other than that for a, what do you call it, a soft landing. Not a hard landing. It's purely restaurants. That too, we operate in a mass premium to premium casual dining space, which crowded. Actually affects with any cycle. Because the moment there is a negative cycle, the propensity to save versus spend shifts. And that shift affects the casual dining segment first.
Yeah.
Because QSR is weatherproof.
Yeah.
And I believe the premium fine dining is weatherproof too, because it's the super rich that spends there and they never get affected by the cycles. So it's the middle class who drives the casual dining space, aspirational buyers.
Yeah.
And they are the one who keep switching very.
And you can feel the immediate shock.
Exactly. So we realize this shock will continue. If not COVID or if not crude, some shocks will
Something
happen.
else.
Exactly. I mean, supply chain shock happens.
Yes, yes.
So we then realize it's important that we need to have an alternative channels of revenue so that such shocks will help us to have a soft landing rather than a hard landing. So we kind of start focusing a lot on the B2B side of things.
Yeah.
We've developed a fairly strong B2B distribution business with bakery and nursery products.
Yeah.
We sell that to a whole lot of hotels and cafes. We built good for you, because everybody now wants to do good for you products, right? So we felt, okay, good for you is a good space to be in with our backend infrastructure in place. So we launched and rolled out a keto range of products, which we sell directly to the customers, but we also sell that on a white label to many other people who want to do the same line, because it's just that it gives them speed to market, right?
Yes.
So they may have a distribution channel in space, they may have the marketing capability in space, or they may even have a platform in space. But what they don't want to do is a lot of R&D, which is our strength. So we would do the whole product development, R&D, shelf life studies, barcode, the entire hard asset part of it, and give it to somebody at white label, and they can run with it and focus on marketing, distribution, sales. So we do that part of things, and we started doing a bit of catering as well. These are all, how do I call it, midway of maturity. They've not been fully matured, but we believe these projects would mature and would actually be a very, very sizable part of the business. So there is a balance. So that the shocks really don't force us to have a hard landing.
Disrupt the journey. Yes, absolutely. You've done a lot in the background, I would think. A lot of diversification in terms of formats. Very quickly, can you tell us the restaurants that you have as part of Tablez Food Company right now? And how many outlets roughly in the region?
So today we operate Famous Dave's, is a legendary pit barbecue from the US. It's the second largest barbecue chain out of US. It's a legacy brand. Dave Anderson started this 30 years. Actually, this month they are celebrating their 30th year. And he's a Native American too. So that's our flagship brand. I think we were the first one to do the pit barbecue in the UAE, and everyone else came after us. And obviously there is a lot of barbecue joints today, homegrown and otherwise. But we stayed very true to our product. We've been growing year on year. Now we're not doing we're not doing too many units a year. We're doing 1 or 2 max. It's capital intensive. Plus, like I said, right now the real estate is pretty hot. It's entering in a hot real estate market, obviously puts a lot of pressure. Then you'll have to have extremely high top line, and you don't have any room for error. Things go south, you're going to have it. So we are okay to do a slow paced growth, conservative 1-2 units. Then the other brand we have is a homegrown bakery cafe called Bloomsbury's.
That's where it all started.
Yes, it did. I mean, the first business that Tablez ever did was Bloomsbury. So now Bloomsbury has transitioned into an all-day dining bakery cafe. And Bloomsbury does position itself as a very value-driven, but not compromising its quality or any other value proposition that matters to a customer. Extremely high quality food, but at a very affordable price, because we produce it. Everything is internally managed, it's in-sourced. So we got a cost advantage. We don't have a royalty pain. So we pass on some of those savings to the customers to make it affordable. The idea is to make it all weatherproof. So tomorrow, if a middle class family wants to trade down, we are affordable enough that you don't really need to switch from the brand. And we will continue to grow that brand in that direction. It's well received. And the third brand that we launched last year it's a 100-year-old pizzeria from under the Brooklyn Bridge in New York. So it's called Grimaldi's. So that's called, that Grimaldi's is called as the pizza that made Brooklyn Bridge famous. So if you go to Brooklyn Bridge and go under the bridge, you still see the Grimaldi's and you still see 70, 80 people probably queuing at any given time.
So iconic.
Yeah, it is iconic. It's 100-year-old. So that's what Tablez is all about right now, other than doing the other B2B and B2C. And then we have a whole host of virtual brands out of each kitchen, just leveraging the existing inventory and the people's skill.
Very smart way.
Yeah, I mean, we've got few of those virtual brands that are performing quite well.
Lovely.
So that's the portfolio, right?
And what will it look like in 2025? Any big plans?
So yeah, I mean, our plan is to at least do one or maximum 2 units of each brand, each of the 3 brands. So if you do 2, you're going to add another 6 more, which means we would obviously be crossing 15 plus units.
Yeah.
And you can just do the math and say, okay, I mean, average unit volume in the market could be about 6-7 million, and then you can do the math. Where would the top line sit? But more importantly, what we are happy about it is that we're growing profitably. There was a time that we were going through a breakneck speed growth because that was the buzzword, grow at any cost.
Yeah.
But there's no point growing at any cost. You need to make sure your house is in order to grow. There is the resources when it comes to capital allocation, it's limited.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure the business is multiplying its initial capital base as year go by, not draining it all and then looking for fresh capital infusion or debt raise or any of that. So we've been doing a fairly decent job from that front. So we're making sure that we're growing at the right pace and profitably, and that would be the play. Because we want to remain relevant for the long horizon.
Absolutely.
Not that next shock happens when you shut the shop and go home.
Absolutely.
Because that's going to affect a lot of families,
Yes.
people who work
Yes.
with us, the ancillary business that we take support from. So it affects the system, right? So I want to make sure the systemic impact we create is limited. So the less people lose job and less people affected by us. I mean, I'm not sure that how much I will be able to achieve, but at least internally,
that's
I feel
the aim.
The systemic impact that I create from that business failure or success is kind of, if it's success, it should spread to a lot, and if it's a failure, it should impact the least amount of people. So that's one of the things that we keep talking about.
That's nicely put. And with that, I move on to the last segment of the interview, which I like to call the Retail Rapid Fire.
I don't know what to expect.
Fun stuff.
Okay.
Okay, starting with pizza or pav bhaji?
Pizza.
Kulfi or gelato?
Kulfi.
What was the last meal that you had when you ate out? And which restaurant?
That was just a coffee and a croissant.
Okay.
Yesterday afternoon at Broth House in Pullman Hotel.
Okay. One healthy eating habit that you have mastered?
Oh, I'm not a healthy eater, so that question sounds a little off for me. And because I end up tasting everything. We always looking to...
You have the best job.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, so I don't know what's the best thing here. Yeah, maybe I quit sugar,
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, so that's one thing.
That's incredible.
I quit direct sugar intake. So that one of the reasons we developed the whole keto line was that I wanted to
well
quit.
done, Sajan. And my last question, Sajan, of the restaurant concepts, of the online delivery concepts that you have as part of Tablez Food Company, which one is closest to your heart? Difficult question, I know.
No, all three, Rupkata, because all three...
You can't say all three.
No, the thing
you have to pick one.
Very well differentiated. I'll tell you why.
But you have to pick your favorite.
No, I'll tell you why, because this allows me and my family to eat within our ecosystem throughout the month. So
different food, yeah.
Exactly. So Bloomsbury gives you the range of what you need, international comfort food, the range of it.
Yeah.
Famous Days give you the best steaks and briskets and short ribs and wings and fried chicken, whatever you want. And Grimaldi's gives you the best pizza, pasta and appetizers. So that kind of sum it up. So now you need some curry and biryani. I've got the biryani.
Got it all covered.
So yeah, I told you, one of the mandates is to create what we like to eat every day.
Surely, surely. Thank you so much for making this interview fun, for sharing a lot of things.
Hope that was useful. It is just purely our context and perspective.
Absolutely useful. And thank you so much for joining me on RetailME TV. Pleasure.
Thank you.